Hello to all my beautiful listeners, and welcome to I Wrote That, a podcast where we talk about books, industry secrets, and all the fun things that go into being an author. I'm very excited today to have my special guest because she is a poetry author, which I just love. We haven't had someone like that on before. So really excited to have you here, Jaclyn. She is kind of a bookworm extraordinaire and a bookstagram fanatic. So when she's not reading, Jaclyn is pretty fickle about writing protagonists who really enjoy lighting her outlines on fire. She manages to contain her composure through a daily regimen of peppermint tea, poetry, yoga, and followed by chocolate chips, healthy balance. I love that. Running her own dog bed and breakfast, fantastic friends, and boarding. As an added bonus, her furry house guests are also co-editors. The tabby cat on the premise has refused to make any comments, and I have my own two cats. They're both orange, and I'm pretty sure spawn of the devil, and they also help me edit. So thank you for coming, Jaclyn. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have someone from the poetry world. So let's dive right into it. When you're talking poetry, what sparks your creativity?
Well, really, it's the everyday ordinary, whether that be a conversation with my family, friends, and sometimes conversations I overhear. For example, like when I'm at a restaurant or in public spaces. Another big one for me is observing the emotions of others. What makes someone cry tears of joy? What is it that that older gentleman is thinking of? That he's sitting on the park bench, he's staring up into the clouds. What makes him think about that? Something else that sparks my creativity, which is a bit funny, is domesticity. Really, ideas will come to me while I'm washing the dishes, folding laundry, cooking. I think there's something like with working with your hands that helps me to tap into my subconscious. It flows more freely when I have no pressure on me.
I love that.
Poetry will come to me.
Yeah. And empathy as writers, I think in any genre, the ability to embody the emotions of others and express how you think others might be feeling is just so important when you're trying to form that connection with them. And I agree with you on the creativity coming when you're working with your hands. Like my creativity comes with idle mind and busy hands, because you just let your mind flow, right? And you get into this very creative spot. That's really inspiring and really good advice too. If you're in a writer's block, go do something with your hands, get out of your head. Totally. Speaking of writer's block, how often do you write?
Well, it'll differ from week to week, but I do try to write a few times a week, mostly in small increments. About maybe 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. Sometimes I'll try to knock out like larger chunks of writing on days when I'm off or when my daughter is with my in-laws, because I have a little more time to play with. But I try my best to fill in the time when I can, like if I'm grabbing moments when I'm able to.
That's awesome, because I think a lot of writers get into the authorship game thinking they have to write for 2 hours every day, 5 days a week. And most of us do not write that way. Like we have businesses, we have families, we have careers, we have mental health to take care of. Like you just cannot dedicate that much time. So, creating that mental space to allow for creativity to come and go is really important. But what about physical space? Like where do you write?
That's funny. Really, anywhere I can find a space. Could be my kitchen table, my dining room table, sitting on the couch with my laptop right near me. Basically, wherever I could find a space.
Yeah, I have just gotten into the process of actually leaving my house to go write, because I have my office space. I work from home as a coach, and I talk about books 24/7. And usually it's like other people's books. I'm I'm developmental editing, I'm coaching, I'm leaving reviews on other people's work. Sometimes I'm just reading for fun, but it's so consuming that when I actually sit down to write my own work, my space isn't as creative anymore. It's kind of work oriented. So in the last probably 8 weeks, every Friday morning, I go to my local McDonald's and I sit down and I write. And it's, I sit down with all the little old people that are coming in for their day. And, you hear them gossiping, and you talk about, observing others. Whoo, the gossip at a McDonald's in the morning is top notch. But, setting up a space that really flows for your creative genius, is so important, both for your mind and your body. I have a guest coming on my Facebook group, my private Facebook group, to talk about setting up a healthy writing space and how you can, create success by the way your space is laid out, both for your body and your mind. So that's going to be really interesting. I might post the link to that in the show notes. Speaking of show notes, also stick around, because Jaclyn does have a giveaway for us at the end that we're going to link in the show notes as well, where you can grab a freebie from her. And I'm very excited about that. So do stick around for that. Okay, Jaclyn, we just talked about the balance of writing to home to work life. How do you do it? How do you balance it all?
Well, first of all, I allow myself plenty of grace and caffeine. I do run on Irish breakfast tea with a little bit of honey. That's one secret I can give you. But mostly small tasks. I have to break them up throughout the day. And what I'll do is I'll sprinkle in the creativity in those small moments. And if I don't get to everything on my to-do list, which really, it just happens that way, that's life, I don't beat myself up about it anymore. That's where I said where the grace comes in. I have to I have to roll with it. And I tell myself, okay, I will get to it tomorrow then. Because I look at it this way: slow progress is still progress.
Yeah, I think kids taught me that the most. Like, I've got a 5-year-old and I used to really enjoy having a pristine, clean kitchen. Like, that was the one room in the house that I needed to be able to see clear countertops. And since having a husband and a child, that is just not my reality anymore. And, sometimes it is the balance between, do I want to write or do I want to clean today? And most of the time it's, I want to write. Like, I don't want to clean. And what are the consequences of me not cleaning? Honestly, nothing. Like, I'll get to it an hour later, or my husband will get to it, like, people, we get so caught up in that, I have to have this, but what are the consequences if you don't? Probably nothing. If you choose to go right, the consequence is that you're going to be happier for it. You're going to be in a better mental state. You're going to be a better mom. You're going to be a better employee because you took that time for yourself. Totally different. So taking the time for yourself is very different for every person. I have my preferred method of writing, as I'm sure you do. So what is your preferred method of writing?
Well, for the most part, I am a pantser, which, for those of you that don't understand what that means, it means I don't follow strict plot lines. I have a basic idea, I'll know my beginning, my middle, and usually I know my end. But if I try to hold on too tight, right, or I try to control it, the characters will get very angry at me. They'll just stomp all over any kind of plans I have. So I would say that my stories are absolutely character driven.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. I literally just posted a TikTok this morning where I was like, I have this scene and I don't know where it's going to go. I literally have no idea what's going to happen. I have to factor it, and it comes down to that character's personality. What would they do in the moment? And honestly, I think she'd kill them all. That's the scenario I'm at right now. I was like, does she save them, or does she, blow the bomb? I think she blows the bomb, but I haven't written it yet. So it's so important to know what your style of writing is, what your method of writing is, because it's going to make the process more enjoyable for you. Like, you and I'm a pantser as well, through and through. If I were to sit down in a fantasy style book, a fiction style book, and try and plan it out, I'm 100% sure I would fail, because that is not my style. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So what message do you want your readers to take away from the experience of your book? So your book, your poetry book in particular, Don't Go Over the Bridge. What message are you trying to get across to your readers?
I would say, first and foremost, to be your true self, to be your authentic self. And if you can, it's most important, if you take the time to learn about who you are and not who others expect you to be. And that can include family and friends. and basically to be free from these societal, traditional, patriarchal expectations.
Mm-hmm. Writing is such an escape for people. As an author, we get to escape through the process, but as a reader, like I read every night before bed. I read fantasy, sci-fi, something in that genre, to escape from day-to-day rules, day-to-day society, day-to-day expectations. I get to read about the morally gray characters that do stuff that I would never do. And yet I still really connect with, because it's kind of like, what would life be like if I could live like that? Right. And people, readers are finding that in your book. And you have a sale coming up on March 25th, which I'm very excited about. So let's talk about your freebie. You are giving away a freebie to kind of promote people to discover your book.
Yes. What you do is you can go right to my website, jaclyncohen.com, and there is an option to sign up for my newsletter. So if you click that, it'll bring you right to there, and then I can send you a free chapter for your email.
That's totally great. I love that. And it's a free chapter from Don't Go Over the Bridge. Is that right?
Correct. It's the very beginning, it's the intro.
That's great. Yeah. So readers can really quickly know if they connect with your message and they want to know more. So March 25th, the book goes on sale for 99 cents. You can grab a copy of that and you can sign up for her email list. We will put the link to that in the show notes, so you can just go directly there and get in line for the exclusive link to that sale. Okay, my favorite question, Jaclyn. What advice do you have for aspiring authors?
I would say perseverance, number one, persistence, keep going because it isn't easy, and allow yourself to make mistakes. It's a part of the creative process. You're going to get knocked down and you just pick yourself back up again. And also another one that I wish I would have known years ago, I probably would have had my book written much faster. Just dive in. You learn through trial and error, like in life. And you could take as many writing courses, have a shiny diploma on your wall, but none of that's going to matter if you have a blank page, right? And if you have to do research, because research is a big part of being a writer, I would recommend to research as you go. You could always leave notes for yourself and then return to a particular scene to fill in those necessary details.
Research is so funny. I'm sorry. My brain just went to as an author, I have Googled some really weird stuff, as I'm sure you have. And I think my favorite one was, how quickly does a body go rigid after death? That one I Googled. And another one was, how quickly would you bleed out from a neck wound?
Oh my goodness. FBI is coming.
Right? The search history that you go through as a teenager, the search history is very scary. As an author, yes. I think it's scarier.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What people are seeing in your search history. That's really wonderful. Thank you so much, Jaclyn, for coming on. Yeah, it's such a pleasure. And again, your book goes on sale March 25th. So jump in line for that by signing up for your email list. Thank you.
Thank you.